is this? Yo, John, what's up? What is up? AJ, Hayden, how are y'all? Let me look up something. So is there a Bassmaster tournament starting today? Apparently there is. You know what's odd about that? Lake Murray. I don't know if I'm oblivious to this or not. What's up, Dave? Tom? Burnsy? Well, Burns, I was looking up something because I thought I saw a picture of what's his dick? Jason Williamson. J. Will holding a fish up. And I was like, is there a tournament today? Sure as hell. The damn Lake Murray tournament today. But I don't, maybe it's me, but I don't feel like I ever see much leading up to a lot of these events. Like they just happen. Is it me? Is it Bassmaster? Is it their pros? I feel like there's not a big hype push or any kind of push to get people excited before the event. Maybe I miss all of that. Maybe I don't know. Why do I not see any of that shit though? Because I literally only follow bass fishing stuff on Instagram, and I never see. I don't see much stuff. Maybe it is me. Well, they posted a bunch today already. Happy birthday, Steve Kennedy. Tomorrow, Lake Murray. Ike holding up some fish. Patrick Walters talking about fantasy. Swindle. Swindle needs to chill on the damn beard dye. It looks like ass. Pros are all just bed fishing, so they're pretty silent. I guess that would make sense. But I feel like yeah, I'm even more behind on MLF, but I don't know. I feel like I know it would probably encroach on Hella, but maybe not because he streams any day of the week he so chooses now. But I feel like they could do like a Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, like some sort of live kind of get hyped for the event, but not do it with what's his dick. Like get some fresh meat in there, but do like a pregame event. They might already do that. There is on the Wednesday before the tourney. There's a live or podcast pre-tourney. I could not find it. Or they must suck though. I just ignore it. Well, it must. And is it good? Is it worth watching? Where is it? On YouTube? Well, why don't they get people that are like relevant to like help them out? Like get Panger on there. Get Hella on there. Get anybody that like people like, and like spread their seed around. Bassmaster. Let's see. Shane LaHue breaks down Murray's practice. Live well preview Lake Murray one day ago. 4-minute video. Lives. They streamed 4 hours ago. Bassmaster kayak series. I don't see this shit anywhere. Enjoying solid food after 2 days of liquids and not trusting a fart. That sucks, Tom. I dealt with that last week. No, I feel like they're like there's only how many events? 10, 9, whatever. They need like it should be every event should be pretty exciting. I mean, that's just like having like the Super Bowl and like none of the other games like really give a shit about. I think they need to diversify their talent in the streaming world, or just get I don't know something. They need to. I think the problem is if you like I get a lot of notifications from Bassmaster on YouTube, and it's always a premiere, and it's always like some dumb shit. And I think I don't know. Maybe I'm not uh, the best to ask or see this, but uh, I feel like it's just like they just post some little clippets and stuff, and you just kind of brush it off. Uh, they had a elites. Oh, there it is. Elites return to Murray. Walters previews episode 122. It's an hour long Lake Murray preview that was 3 days ago. Kyle, Jesse, and Ronnie Moore are the hosts. They got 2,500 views. That seems questionably low for the largest organization in bass fishing, who has nearly 200,000 subs on Bassmaster. Right? BTL can get that many in less than 24 hours with Uncle Frank. And they don't, what's BTL subs these days? They're at 14,000 subscribers. So they're about 170,000 short of Bassmasters. Interesting. So that tells me something's wrong. Pacing themselves to spend all their energy to get people to watch the Sabine River. I think, um, Chris, that is probably a pretty big design flaw. Um, is that um, they don't field questions, I'm assuming, um, and I don't particularly like that. Um, where you're talking to an audience that you seemingly act like they don't exist. Um, but I mean, there's some formats uh, that don't lend themselves to it. But when you can pretty much do whatever you want, yeah, I think Bassmaster needs a little work on getting people excited about an event and not just the classic. Anthony has a theory that Bass is purposefully reducing the quality of live to, in return, create a platform you need to pay for. Um, yeah, possible. I don't think they're dumb enough to go there, but they might be. What's up, JP? Uh, yeah, that's the thing. Is like if you're Bassmaster, you've got you've got a lot of knowledge base in your fan base, probably more than anybody that works there. You know what I mean? Like besides like I don't know, but there's certainly a large population of people that are more knowledgeable and you know and have a better understanding of the history of bass fishing than anybody that works at Bassmaster. Um, that's just right there in your comments, talking to themselves, uh, that go unannounced. Um, pulled it up a couple times a day, spinning rigs and scoping. Fun. That's what I'm saying, Chris. Go to a classic and chat with the guy with 30 pins on his jacket. They got, yeah, the old dude with the damn club jacket on from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Yeah, those guys know some shit. They've seen it. And I don't know. I feel like what happened to the live mix where you don't have to listen to them talk? Good question. Good question. But yeah, I think they just need a little spice. Something that's too it's just boring. Like why don't they just follow everybody else's formula? Hop on there with somebody else. Hop on there with this person. Hop on there with this person. Spice it up a little bit. But I guess when you're the leader, you have to show that you're the king and you don't produce little crummy collaborative shit like that. You just, you're the boss. We make our show and that's what you get. Um, I guess that's it would look bad on their brand if they were to stoop to the lowly podcaster level and like do shit like that. But I think they could do it in a tactful way. Uh, I don't know. Maybe there's too much risk involved. Maybe not though. Chrissy needs to get in gear. He's going to miss fishing the Classic on Grand. What's his problem? I think their commentators are just as bad though, Marty. Maybe not. But like today, Zona's not working today. Tommy Sanders isn't working today. None of the like A teams working today, right? Or do they only come in on like Saturday or Friday? Do they get Thursdays off, or do they get to work today? They were both off this morning. There you go. I didn't see any of them either. I know it would be a lot to ask for. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird to me. I still don't feel like there's. Maybe it's just because I don't follow it enough. Maybe it is very systematic in how they do stuff. Um, but or it's maybe just because I don't like it. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's the problem. They talk too much. See, I don't mind somebody talking too much if they're interesting, or if they're fielding questions, or if they're entertaining. And I certainly feel like there's people out there that could fill those shoes. Uh, MLF has the same guys on all day. That probably helps with the consistency. But pull some of the pull some of the open guys. Like have some of the open guys, and not like a Castledine who they know can speak, that like fishes the opens, and be like, hey, we're gonna get Castledine on. That'll show a little legitimacy to like their stream, and they know like Todd is on YouTube, so he would be a good asset. He's on YouTube, he can speak, uh, and he fishes at a high level. Like maybe pick his brain. He probably wouldn't be the best for Lake Murray, but I'm sure there's an equivalent to him. I guess they got Patrick Walters, but anyone but Ronnie Moore. Okay, glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I think that's the problem. They need to shit can Ronnie and get somebody else in the damn chair. Fish? Fish would make it entertaining. That was the great thing about Fish. His Fish was a clown, but Fish was a damn hammer, dude. Like Fish could catch him. He wasn't just like a talking head. Like he fished pro. You know what I mean? and was very competitive. But there's also probably some like you could probably go back and bring back some of the old timers from bring back some of the old timers that might have done good at Lake Murray, and interview them. Let's see if there's a Lynn Dollar event. Megabucks. All right, let's see. Elton Jones wanted it, looks like. So I guess they couldn't get Elton Jones because he's MLF. Uh, Mark Pack, he's passed away. Can't get him. He did well. Uh, I'm sure there's somebody that did a top 10 in 1999. That would be interesting to talk to. Um, this is real sad. Everybody in this show is passed away of the 2099 Bassmasters Lake Murray Megabucks. Aaron Martins, Mark Pack. Uh, yeah, where's Davey? Prime example. He would be great. But it needs to be Davey and like let Davey pick. You know what I mean? Like Davey, who would you like to interview like locally that like really knows their shit? Like if they could like just get Davey's old fishing partner on there or like I don't know. I guess Davey's still in bed. I like Davey. Davey was always one of my he was always one of my go-to dudes. Davey's on now. See, I don't get that. Like make Dave and Davey do the like all of it. Like can you is that not possible? Like can you not have what are they on the water? I don't know. I think something needs to change. That's what I was thinking, Morgan. Um, Burns, people aren't going to watch nobody talking live, like just watching live fishing with people like completely silent with no context. I don't think. Like you can watch it for a minute, but you got to have somebody steering the ship that keeps you entertained. Oh, Menendez would be good. I love listening to Mark. He's such a genuine nice guy. Like he doesn't have an agenda. Like he's not trying like when he speaks, he's like being Mark Menendez. He's not being like TV Mark Menendez. He's like a real dude. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. But uh, yeah, get if they really want to do something, get damn block it on there. Block it. What do you think about this place? Oh, this place is a dump. It's not nearly good as it. There's not even any fish in here anymore since they put bluebacks in it compared to what it was when in 1999 when I fished the Megabucks tournament here. This place sucks. Bluebacks decimated this lake. Now they're all living offshore, pelagic, running around chasing schools of bluebacks. They don't even set up on the bank anymore. Uh, Bobby would get eyes, though. You know what I mean? He would get people to watch. I think the other hard thing is getting the anglers to actually kind of talk through what they're doing, because most of the time it's crickets. And the other guys are just kind of guessing. Chris asked about Lay Lake. Lay Lake will be lackluster. Not Lay Lake will be, not to sound like a Randy, but Lay Lake is a shell of its former self. Lay Lake has been used and abused and rode hard and put up wet for so long. That is finally caught up to it, and it's not the lake it once was. You'll still probably see some decent weights, but it'll probably fall off pretty quick. It's not going to be it's not going to be the Lay Lake from 15, 20 years ago. They could lie, AJ. I don't have to tell the truth. I'm just out here throwing my culprit worm, 1/4 ounce slip sinker, lead, no bobber stop, red shad. Fishing, just bumping it along the bottom. Which would also get people talking, because we'd be sitting here saying, dude, did you hear Hackney say that he was throwing a culprit red shad with a 1/4 ounce lead sinker, no bobber stopper? Which would be probably pretty funny. Yep, just dragging a lizard. That's what you do in April. Throw a lizard, drag it around. People on the internet are going to cry that some pro isn't promoting a brand. Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll always be the crybabies. I don't know. I feel like for Bassmaster to be as prestigious as a company as it is in the industry and hold the water that they do, that it should just be more like, an event like this should be more exciting, like leading up to it. I barely even knew it happened, much less get excited about it. How can you get excited about something unless, like, it's happening? Like, they need a big something before the event that's like that's like a party where everybody wants to watch it. You know what I mean? Where you're like, dude, I gotta tune into this shit to see, like, what's going on. Like, maybe do like a round table and just get some, like, sticks and be like, what's gonna happen? Maybe that's against the rules. Nobody throws a lizard? Man, it's hard to beat a lizard. I did hear Ben Milliken say that when he was that his fishing partner on day one was Carolina rigging a lizard, and he never had a bite, and he gave him one of those creature baits from 6 Cents, the Hogwalla, and magically started catching 5-pounders. Or the first cast with it caught a 6 or something. I find that hard to believe. Really hard to believe, actually. It's not hard for me to believe that he caught a 6 on that bait, but it's hard for me to believe he didn't have a bite on a lizard, because I feel like a lizard is the bite-gettingest bait ever. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he didn't catch a 6-pounder on it, but he didn't catch a 12-incher or a 10-incher or a 14-incher or anything like little size. That was kind of odd. The banjo is back. I saw that. I didn't watch the video. I saw the title, but it didn't lend me to believe that it was back. So this will be the 3rd iteration of the banjo minnow. Push it would kill Ish. Black with a sharp tail never fails. Yeah. We used dude, I used to run through, I don't know about y'all, but if you go back through your lizard catalog, because once you get dialed into the lizard, like when I was like 15 to like probably like 18 or 19, 20, once you go down the lizard wormhole, you're like, all right, this damn lizard gets bit. So then you start collecting every imaginable color that Zoom made. I had, and I caught them on pretty much damn near all of them, but I couldn't tell you when one, like the only one that I remember consistently that I would throw in the summertime, specifically in the summertime, was cotton candy. Like, for whatever, that was like the summertime color that I threw. Now we're talking, Kyle. Let me read this, and then I'll go back to the lizard colors. They should take notes from Dana White and UFC. Pre-press conference was top 10 to 20 and the favorites to win on that lake. I have some smack talking lake breakdown, why their technique is better. Sure, it would be awesome. And then be like, listen, dudes, y'all all have social media. Put out a little video and a picture on your story, on your Facebook, on your Instagram feed, on your Facebook, just telling people that we're doing this, and it'll grow, dude. Like, people will see it and people will tune in for whoever. Like, if you have 20 guys promoting it, and we'll see it and get kind of pumped to see what everybody's talking about. Unless you got a bunch of marble mouthers that just sit in there and they like blah, 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 blah. But anyway, Zoom lizard. So I guess the standard was June bug, and then June bug just gets boring, and then you're like, well, I throw a red shad worm a lot. Let's try a red shad lizard. You buy red shad lizards. Then you start going down other wormholes. I remember my other favorite was sour grape. Sour grape was the damn titties back in the day. And I'd throw sour grape. I'd throw cotton candy. What was my other go-tos? They had a color called Bruiser. That was like a transparent blacky blue looking bait. It was like smoky blue. That one was real good. That one's actually that color, I think, has is one of those like cult following colors. Like, I think if you have a pack of bruiser lizards that are like old stock, that people would pay up for those. Um, and then I'd buy, like, I never had like more than like 2 packs of a color. I just had like 30 different colors. Um, I don't know that I ever threw a red bug lizard. Um, I remember throwing kudzu a bunch. That was just kind of a watermelony green pumpkin with a big green flake in it. What other odd ones? Chameleon was huge. Um, but I hardly ever threw like green pumpkin. It was always something weird. Uh, Kudzu, cotton candy, sour grape, uh, moccasin blue. See, we didn't get. I remember they came out with Scuppernong, and the Scuppernong trickworm was like the deal. It was like the one that nobody talked about on a shaky head. Um, and then they came out with Scuppernong lizards. I was like, oh shit, this over, dude. Um, oh yeah, Zoom has a great Motorola. I do have Motorola Zoom lizards over there somewhere. Um, one of my biggest bass to date was on a Motorola Zoom Lizard 6-inch. Um, Moccasin blue is a very, very beautiful color, especially in the culprit lineup back in the day. Um, what else? What else? I know there was some other oddities, but I never did good on a. I don't recall ever doing well on a red shad lizard like I did on a worm. Um, I never liked watermelon red either. I think our water was always too dingy. Uh, yeah, JP, the big one I caught on the Motorola Lizard back in the day, it was in very. I mean, I wouldn't say really clear, but it was pretty clear water for some. You know, you wouldn't. It would be more like green pumpkin water. It wouldn't be. You wouldn't look at it and be like, "This is Motorola water." Um, but you think they brought it back? They brought Bruiser back. Hmm. Plum apple is our go-to shaky head color, along with what color we drag in piles in an old monster. In a flipping mag 2. Never threw it in a lizard. Plum apple. Soft Plastics World is very fun. I'd love to see a Sweet Beav in Motorola. I tried to talk Josh into that. I said, "Hey, will you do me half Motorola? Like, will you do me a Sweet Beav laminate, half Motorola, half Chameleon? You know how badass that would look? Brown and purple on one side, and then that chartreusey orangey green on the bottom. Dude, Missile, don't steal that. Nobody steal my worm. Get the 5 to 10 anglers that are scheduled for day live cameras to do a live show where they trash talk each other like a pre-MMA. Hella, don't you think that would make sense, dude? That would get people to watch. Incoming Devo on color next week. No shit. Um, especially if it was like playful. It's like, dude, take your little weenie worm, take your little wacky rig, and go out there and get your pants pulled down. And I'm gonna go out there and take my sweet beef or whatever they're doing. Like it'd be fun. Those guys could like playfully smack talk each other to the point where it would be entertaining. Um, Brennan, that is a waste of breath. That is a waste of time and effort. River to see Nestrator. Uh, the Guru live stream last night was awesome. Hella, I was what I was surprised about was like towards the end of the night. I looked at the clock and it was like 10:30, and Battisti and Ken were they looked so they looked like they had just like snorted a pot of coffee. Like they looked very alert, and like they were on, dude. I was like, man, these guys are machines. They're not even, because it's like they're on. I'm guessing Ken's on Eastern time, so it would have been almost midnight for him, but he was firing, dude. He must be a night owl. Um, but I didn't get to listen as closely as I would have liked to. I'll have to go back and watch the first part, because we put the bean to bed, and Amy sang her a song, and I went in the room and started watching Hella, and and I got to watch it for like 10-15 minutes, and then we hear this little feet coming into the room, and she's got this like little funny smirk on her face. I'm like, what are you doing? She just comes and lays on me, and then she wants to play. She goes and gets her little cash register, and she's like, you want to come to my store? I'm like, sure. So I had to go shop at the bean store, and we played a little bit, and Mama was on the phone, and Mama talked on the phone for a little while. Me and the bean played, and finally, once all that kind of stopped, I had to get the bean back to bed. So it was. I caught most of the end though, and that was good. Um, I'm really surprised that they didn't know anything about the Nick Taylor who wrote Bass Wars. He was like he was from New York City. It was weird. Like I figured it would have been on especially Ken's radar, since he was like an editor. How it came to fruition that a dude from New York City would like become interested in writing a book about tournament bass fishing. That uh, I don't know. It'd be interesting to have a little backstory on that guy. Tom, you're done with red shad? 25 years ago, they never worked. I fished red man as a code to guarantee my boater friend. He swore by red shad. I believe fish what you have confidence in. Very true. I can say I have caught a an insane amount of fish on a red shad worm. sickening amount. But I that was the odd thing about fishing back like in your youth. Like there was no rhyme or reason to anything really. Like they you'd fish a red shad worm in July because you didn't know any better that you were supposed to be throwing plum or something else. So you just fished red shad. You still caught them, but like then you get older and wiser, you think, and you're like, oh, well, red doesn't work in the summertime. That's that's a spring color. When it's hot, I gotta throw, you know, springy. But I guess red bug is kind of red. Um, so, oh, she did, Hella. She actually crawled up in my lap and she said, "I want to watch them." I said, "You want to watch them?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "Turn it up." So I turned it up, and she said, "Where you at?" I said, "I'm not on there." And she was like, "Who are those guys?" I said, "That's Ken Duke and Hella and Terry Battisti." She said, "Where you at?" I said, I'm not on this one." She was like, "Okay." She said, "Show me you." And I said, "Oh, you want to watch me on there?" And she's like, "Yeah." So we had to like go find me. Um, but but I don't know, like all those weird, like moccasin blue, dude. You hadn't heard about that color in years. I'd love to see that on like a sweet beef or like something new, like a new shape. That'd be badass. Because that was a huge color, huge. Like that, like it. But I feel like the moccasin color was a. It was like it wasn't as standardized as like a red shad or a June bug. It was like the underground go to. You know what I mean? Like it was the one that guys would like keep to themselves. And be like, oh yeah, I'm throwing moccasin shad. It's like, oh shit, he's a moccasin guy. But do they still make that? Let's see. Moccasin blue. I think my favorite iteration of moccasin was the culprit moccasin shad with blue flake. That was real sexy because it was kind of silver. It was like a dark brown to like a silvery, and then it had like the blue flake in it. It was real sexy. But moccasin is kind of like a lighter scuppernong almost, just with blue flake. Moccasin blue, dude. The JP, I think that one's safe though, dude, because it's so out of date and like it's so not sexy, but it's like lethal. But I think if you went to the boat ramp and you said, "Hey everybody, I caught him on a 6-inch lizard, moccasin blue," like I don't feel like people would like rush out and be like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna go buy me some damn Zoom lizards," because it's because it's lame. which is what I like. You know what I mean? Like I'm okay with that. Um, AJ just ordered every pack from Land Big Fish, but I think if you showed up at the ramp and you're like, oh, I caught him on a baby D bomb moccasin blue, people be like, ooh, ooh, ooh. JB's in Nebraska. You're safe. Um, what is this? Oh yeah, dude. I gotta give it. I gotta give it to. I've got to give the king. And we're not talking like fish biting or ability to catch a bass, but sex appeal. One of the sexiest colors Zoom ever made, or not Zoom, culprit, is the moccasin blue shad worm. It's sexy, dude. It's sexy. Um, I've got so many Zoom tubes over there. Does anybody throw Zoom tubes that would or know anybody that does? What is this color? Tequila shad. Dude, I gotta it's a weird speaking of worms, I obviously threw culprit worms a lot. Um I used to throw tequila sunrise a ton. And Anthony, you do? Dude, I got so many damn Zoom tubes and I don't know why I have them. I need to get rid of them. I've got a bunch. They're like just sitting over there in Ziplocs, just by the dozens. Um, but the tequila sunrise. Love tequila sunrise. And I went to the store, and I guess they might have been out of tequila sunrise, but they had tequila sunrise green flake. And I was like, oh, this is gonna murder their ass. I was like, it's tequila sunrise, uh, but sexier. Dude, I've been riding around with that pack of tequila sunrise green flake for 20 years, and I still don't know that I've caught a fish on it. And I certainly don't think it's the green flake, but for whatever reason, I could catch them on tequila sunrise, but tequila green, nah, that wasn't the deal. Morgan, dude, don't even say that. That is blasphemy. You're gonna get put in timeout, dude. That is the only June bug. That is, and like I try not to get like too goofy into that shit like that, but I don't know. I've had days where you can take a regular June bug and you go zoop, flip it in a tree, work it out, and like I did it behind my dad. Um, it could have been the fisherman. I don't know. But he had on regular June bug, and I was in the back of the boat with June bug red, and I was just hammering their ass behind him. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I have red flake in my June bug. He's like, no. So, maybe, maybe. And that happened more than one time. Like it happened a lot. Uh, and I just think June bug looks better with red flake in it. And my neighbor Mean Gene, he was very, very adamant about when he would fish. He fished a Texas stray lizard a lot. That was like his go-to. He would throw like a buzz bait, a spinner bait, and if it was really bad, he would throw a lizard. And the interesting thing about him throwing a lizard, that was his like when it was tough, he would throw a lizard. And for years, he would tell me, uh, you know, oh, I caught him on a June bug lizard. I was like, okay. And this went on for like 10 years where he would, give me a fishing report and tell me he caught him on a lizard because he only threw about three things. And I was always, when you say you caught him on a lizard, I just thought you were like bumping it around, fishing it like a lizard. And until I went fishing with him. And we started going down the bank and he threw a spinner bait and he threw it for a little while. And, about, he never fished it long, like 5-10 minutes. And he's like, they ain't eating that. And he picked up his lizard, threw his lizard out there. And he just did this. And I was watching him. I said, Gene, is that how you fish a lizard? He said, what do you mean? I said, uh, you never stop it? He's like, no. I was like, you just reel it in. He's like, yeah. I said, that's how you've always fished it? It's like, is that how you fish a worm? He's like, yeah. That's how I fish anything Texas shrimp. Like, you kidding me? Like all these years you've been saying you were like catching them on a worm or like a lizard or something. That's what you were doing. It's like, yeah. So they eat it. And he was like, yeah. Well, that kind of throws off like everything uh, I kind of know because the dude literally never stops reeling his worm and like crushes them on the damn worm when it's tough, and he's never let a worm stop in his life. How weird is that? But I mean, he was reeling it slow, but it never stopped and hopped up or did any kind of that nonsense. Just reeled it. So that kind of threw me off for a little bit. I was like, They eat June bug on the river. They eat black with red flake. I don't know why. I don't get that on the June bug red. I don't know either. Bear Creek Lake. Maxent tubes. They tear easy and inexpensive, but the smallies love them. But Gene always dyed the tails of his lizard red. He was very adamant about dyeing his tails red. Um, so I kind of had that ingrained in my brain that he was, and it didn't matter if it was February or if it was July or if it was September. Didn't matter. June bug, red tail, and I would always had that June bug red stuck in my head. And then when they came out with June bug red, I was like, it's already mixed in. I'll just go with this. So Barnes has fished Bear Creek. Yeah, this is completely grassless, JP. This is like just like sandy, kind of silty bottoms, or like around stumps, or like no grass though. Um, real strange. Real strange. Tiki, that's how my dad fishes his curly tails, lizards, brush hogs, slow retrieve. But he catches them. Is what's so weird. Like, why do I even stop if I don't have to? You know what I mean? If the guy over there can catch the same amount of fish as me on a worm by never stopping reeling it, why stop? Because he caught big ones on it. Like he caught, I don't feel like he was costing himself bites at all. Uh, Uncle catches so many good fish on a weightless brush hog. Ooh, that one's painful to watch. The weightless lizard in the spring used to be like when you really wanted to like get dirty on some shallow bass when they were goofy. Damn weightless lizard. Ooh, you had to have the patience of Job to do that though. Wobblehead fishing without the wobblehead. Yep, pretty much. Just throw it out there and reel it in. I need to get me some new Nasty Nate. Are you there? I need to get some of your wobbleheads. I need some wobbleheads. I was looking through my stuff. I don't have that many. There's some there's some certain things I would like to experiment with a wobblehead, and I know Nasty Nate said he made a good one that you could swap hooks out. Only time I've been over there was a duck hunt on the St. Francis. I guess it is an old. I'm sure it came from somewhere though. Like the reeling the worm in. I'm sure it was like on a TV show, or it was in a magazine article. I'm assuming it was in maybe a magazine article or something. Something triggered this non-hopping worm retrieve. You know what I mean? Because we're in Alabama. Gene would have learned this in Tuscaloosa. Um, and Kyle, your dad, I'm guessing, lived in Louisiana. So he picked it up down there. So that's like same part of the country, but not. I wouldn't think it's like universal across the South for that age gentleman, like for a whole generation of anglers to like reel a worm that way. I don't know. AJ, what does your uncle do with his weightless brush hog? Does he like twitch it? Well, that's a my buddy. My buddy called me not too long ago, and I was like, I said, "Did y'all catch him?" He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, we hammered him." He's like, "We were catching him. We were catching him. There was boats all around us." And he said, "We were the only ones catching him. So what were y'all doing?" He said, "Throwing a Cinco." And I said, "Just throwing it out there and letting it sink to the bottom, weightless." He's like, no, fishing it like a fluke. I was like, why throw a Senko? He's like, I don't know. He's like, that's just how they fished it. He's like, we just throw it out there and let it sink a little bit, twitch it a couple times. They come up there and eat it. Like, It just goes to show if somebody comes to the boat ramp and says, oh, I caught him on a Senko, my mind automatically goes to like throwing it out there and letting it go to the bottom. Move it. Let me go back down. It might not always be the case. All right, made it to an hour. We'll get off of here. And I wore nice clothes today. Thought about painting some DTs. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I have to go to the beach today. I got home last night and the Beam was sitting in the chair in the living room by herself playing with a little doll. Or it wasn't a doll, it was a little puppy dog that had like a carrying crate. And she said, you want to sit down and play with me? I said, sure, I'm going to sit in this chair. Sitting on the chair beside her. And I said, how was your day today? She said, good. And she said, we're going to the beach tomorrow. I said, oh, yeah? She said, with you. And I said, oh, okay, are we? And she said, yes. So, yes, we have a wedding. Amy's in a wedding at the beach, so we have to go down early because they have involved festivities for her to do with the wedding party. So I'll be Mr. Mom. Burns, wouldn't that make sense? It would make sense. But we don't get to make sense. I get to run myself in the ground, keeping 2 kids. That's why I don't get well. That's why I don't get well. Because I just get feeling good enough to be able to be a human and then run myself into the dirt. Yeah, I'm gonna try to stay out of the sand. My kid ground me into the earth the last 2 days. Yeah, they are pros at that because they have lots of juice. Dads and mommies, no juice. So, wish me luck. We'll be beaching it up, weddinging it up. So, Daddy, is your tank empty? Said Schoolmaster J. Yes. Yes, the tank is gassed out, son. Daughter. I don't know. I honestly have no clue, Kyle. I have to go to my my Down Deep app and see if I can check destined water temperature and clarities. So, all right, y'all have a good weekend. Trying to stay well, maybe do a little fishing. Y'all be good. See you later.